Alright, part of my fandoms thing from my previous video, one of the fandoms was Merlin that I wanted to go into greater detail with, and there will be a Doctor Who video like this one too, eventually. But very quickly, I'm going to try and go through this. Season 1, and I'm not going to go through all the seasons, just the seasons stick out in my head, certain things. Season 1, especially episode 1. Right off the bat, I put Gwen Who, and people who love Gwen don't hate on me because I love Gwen. Alright, I do. I love Guinevere. Do I necessarily like her with Arthur? Not so much. Do I like her as a possible, like, bromance friendship with him? Hell yeah. But I don't really like them together all that much. And like the first episode, Merlin and Arthur, the sexual tension between them, because you can't describe it any other way. Okay, they haven't known each other long enough for it to be any other kind of tension. Alright? They just want to shag each other. That's it. Okay? I mean, really, what do you think Arthur meant when he said, do you want to learn how to walk on your knees? Okay? Think about it. But no, their scenes and the fact that they didn't like each other, like, when you look at Arthurian legend, obviously Merlin's usually older or whatever, and he's doing some weird-ass shit like aging backwards. I don't really know. Which makes no sense if you think 5 seconds on it. But the fact that they didn't like each other, and it wasn't because of this some childish, I don't like you, I didn't like you. It was the fact that they genuinely had no respect for each other. Merlin, because he saw Arthur as like this bullying prat who had a title and a name and was the king's son, so he felt privileged and, like he was allowed to do shit because of his name. And Arthur, because, he looks at this commoner or, this guy who comes in and is like, what do you think you're doing? Stop, you're not privileged all this, you're not, stop it. And he's like, who are you to tell me any different? What makes you think you are so special that you can tell me what to think? And it was just a complete lack of respect for each other. And I love how throughout the show you see that build until, it reaches the pinnacle point in the last episode. But yeah, I like how that started out. In my opinion, season 1 especially, the Great Dragon Kilgara has some of the best quotable lines ever. And I mean like lines that you can quote in conversation, in like certain conversations, where the person that you're quoting them to doesn't have to have like a full background of the show to understand the quote, or at least the episode to understand the quote. And that is, the half cannot truly hate that which makes it whole. Because that makes a lot of sense. And everybody's always like, two halves. You think of like love and hate and, in a lot of ways, passion and indifference. The opposites attract. And it's true. You can't hate something that ultimately makes you whole. You cannot necessarily like the fact that said thing is what makes you whole, or how said thing acts. You can't hate it. You can't truly hate it. You don't have to like it, but you can't truly hate it. And the fact that he says none of us can choose our destiny, and none of us can escape it, I think is really interesting, especially for points that I'll bring up later about Destiny and Merlin and the whole Albion thing. But as to IRL, in real life, if you don't know, the idea that none of us can choose our destiny, I think scares a lot of people shitless, because we like to think we have free will and we're able to we're on our path, right? Because we think that if our path's already laid out for us, why the hell do shitty things happen? We don't ever stop to think, hey, maybe those shitty things are part of the path. No, it's just like, if this shit wouldn't be happening. But it does happen, and it has happened, so deal. Whether it's free will or destiny, there's still a lot of choice in there, and I think Merlin shows that. Is that there is a lot of choice in there. Because Merlin didn't have to do anything that he did. But he chose to do it. And because he chose to do it and go about doing it the way he did, him and Arthur both kind of did like a self-fulfilling prophecy, in a sense. And, okay, now into season 2. The Descent of Morgana. I really, in the first season 2 and season 2, I really kind of felt bad for her. Because I could see, I know what it feels like in a lot of ways to live being something, or having something a part of yourself that you have to keep hidden for fear that you'll be persecuted for it. And I know what that feels like, and I know what it feels like to constantly look over your shoulder and be afraid. And I understand that. I get that. And the fact that she feels so alone in that, I understand it. And it breaks my heart for her. So I get that. Now, later on, in like seasons 4 and 5, when she just goes apeshit crazy, and it's like, everybody's gonna die. All Camelot has to die. I don't even want to rule over Camelot. I just want everybody to fucking die. Then she's just batshit crazy. Okay? No sympathy can be had with her. How can you sympathize with somebody who just wants to create mass murder? I don't understand. Okay, The Last Dragon Lord. That episode, Balinor, Merlin, broke my heart, okay? There's nothing worse, I think, than finding this father that you thought you would never get to meet and then having him ripped from your life because he was saving you. That is... because he doesn't do it. He isn't going to help Camelot because of Gaius. He says it to the Gaius, but it's not. It's for his son. And then, like, when Merlin at the end is like to the dragon, he's like, you could tell he's so hurt and he's so distraught that he would like nothing better than to kill the dragon. And yet he can't, because that's not who Merlin is. He can't do that. He can't destroy the last of something when he's the last too. He cannot do that. And I love that entire episode. It's one of my favorites. Freya being the Lady of the Lake broke my heart again, because it was the only relationship where I was like, okay, really, Merlin, you would be ready to leave Arthur for her. A small part of me was. But then another part of me was like, okay, I really like this budding romance relationship. I get it. I like it. And in a way you were like, yeah, Merlin, because God, Merlin gets shit on a lot. He does so much and loses so much, and he gets shit on. And it's like, about damn time you go do something for yourself. And then the fact that she died, by Arthur no less. And yeah, and he takes her to the lake that, yeah, no, cry my eyes out. Also, okay, season 4, I think I'm going to have to split this up into 2 videos, because I'm at 9 minutes. Season 4, the rise of Arthur in a lot of ways, because seasons 1 through 3 is really this young prince, who in a lot of ways is a boy becoming a man. And then I think season 4 and 5 is really that man, or probably the last half of season 3, and then all of season 4. And some of season 5 even, is that man truly becoming a king, and coming into his own as a king, and as a man, really. I mean, it's just coming into his own, and knowing his beliefs, and knowing where he stands, and being okay with where he stands. And yeah, that, I loved that. Completely. Tristan and Isolde, I don't know. You know who I'm talking about. If you're watching this video, hopefully to God you know who I'm talking about. the fact that her last words were "hold me," I was getting flashbacks to the last episode of season 5. Just saying. Merlin killing for the first time, and the fact that it's, well, in the first time in the sense of it being someone non-magical. I'm pretty sure it's the first time he kills somebody non-magical. And that's Agravain. And it's kind of the first time he does it out of anger. Like, he's protecting Arthur, but really, he kills Agravain because he's pissed off. Okay? Not that I blame the guy. Good on you, mate. But he kills him because he's pissed off. And you see that in his head. After he does it, he's like, shit. I let anger overtake me, in which I want to enter a Star Wars quote, but I won't. You all probably know it already. Old Merlin. I think Old Merlin comes in season 4. I don't think he shows up earlier than that. I don't think. I love Old Merlin because I think Old Merlin gets to say all the shit young Merlin wants to say, but can't because he's a servant. And, you know, then Old Merlin comes in and nobody knows it's Merlin. And he's just like, you're an asshole, and you're an asshole, and you stink, and you are horrible, and you're kind of okay. And he just lets people have it. And it's a cathartic experience for him, and I think he should do it like once a week. Okay, now into season 5. Let's see if I can do this. Season 5, Mordred. I sympathize with him so much because even at the beginning of season 5, he wasn't a bad guy. And that's what I mean about a self-fulfilling prophecy with Merlin and Arthur in a way, is because Arthur's willingness to, the thing that he grows into being this king, this legendary king, is that his heart guides him. And that ultimately is what gets him killed. And then Merlin, the fact that his experiences, and because of the dragon, and because of what he's learned, that this guy that used to be so trusting of others is suddenly very guarded and very jaded and not very trusting at all. And, he's like, I've been told you're going to do bad, so I don't care what you're doing right now. You're going to be bad. You're bad. I can't. And so he kind of drives him away. And then, like, I just get him so much. I understand Mordred on so many levels, and I feel for him, I do. And I think it's interesting that his last words to Arthur is, "You gave me no choice." And then when Arthur stabbed him, he smiled. Because one, I think he knew that he was going to get to see his love again, and two, because part of me thinks he knew that he deserved that in a way. He betrayed a friend and a king, and it was. So I liked that. Gawain dying. Okay, that pissed me off because Gawain is Gawain, and I love Gawain. Okay, you do not understand my love for Gawain and his drunken escapades. But Percival's face, and this was not a ship that I had since it was something that gradually came along, and especially really hit me in that last episode when you see Percival's face, and it's so distraught. And I know it's probably also because the king just died, and Merlin's up and disappeared for all you know, and Gawain's dead, but just Percival's face when he hears Gawain being tortured, and then just broke my heart. Glenn realizing Merlin has magic was freaking awesome. And how she's like, he's always been there with him, and I'm happy about that. I'm glad, and that's he has who he needs with him right now. He has the best of what if there's any chance that Arthur could survive, Merlin's his best chance. And I love how she's like, I'm okay with that. But that is all I'm going to be able to do on this video, and I'm sorry, but I will do this side of the page in the next video, so please stay tuned for it, and comment below. Thank you very much.